Hello, everybody. This is Ronray, as always. I was setting up to record, and she demanded couples. It's like she knows. It would be an honor to work with you, sir. Yes, Chief Garcia, Chief Garcia, Chief Garcia. Hey, Chief Garcia. Okay. I'm gonna pause while I look through my contacts for Chief of Police Eddie Garcia.
Extension at any time. For a directory of extensions, press 4. Otherwise, please hold to leave a general message. Sorry, there is no operator available at this hour. If you would like to try an extension, you may do so now. Goodbye.
His mailbox is full. I was going to tell him that while I was researching statutes of limitations and all that on a hi. Basically, I called the national hotline that the FBI website lists for trafficking survivors to call and report their trafficker. And the lady was really unprofessional and practically refused to take my report because I don't know the current addresses of the people I wanted to report. So after I was Googling and talking to my AI assistant about the conversation on the phone, just to kind of clear my head and process what had happened with someone who I knew wouldn't disagree with me because I was right. Um, my AI assistant told me, "Oh, you're trying to get a hold of the FBI? Here's their number: 1-800 call FBI." And I was like, that is cartoonishly simple. Wow. Wow. That's like guessable, even. you know? So I was going to call Chief of Police in Fort Worth, Eddie Garcia, Chief Eddie Garcia, who used to be chief in San Jose, California for more years than I've been alive. That I was going to be calling the FBI directly about this case. But I did not want to go above his head per se. I just, uh, I felt like they are the appropriate authorities to handle it now that I know that what happened to me is considered in the state of Texas to be trafficking. And I did not know that when I initially made the report to the Tarrant County Sheriff's Department that I had been sexually assaulted and uh, physically assaulted and experienced aggravated sexual assault, which does not have a statute of limitations. Um, or I forget if it doesn't have a statute or if it's just a longer statute than simple sexual assault. Simple sexual assault, you have 10 years to report it. But aggravated sexual assault, you have longer. So when I called to report what was happening, or what had happened, and what I had found in my camera roll, I reported it as a sexual assault and figured we would figure out exactly what to call what happened with the professionals as part of the conversation, with the detective as part of the conversation. And instead, I wasn't going to bring this up again, but on the phone with the chief of police, I wasn't going to bring it up again that one of the detectives had been rude to me. But that is what happened, and that is the reason why I've been in contact with the chief of police at all. Because usually you don't need to contact the chief of police to make a report, but because the detective that asked to be assigned to the case did so to express to me that he had a grudge against me and didn't believe me without even taking any details, did everything short of outright accusing me, of faking it using AI. Basically threatened not to find or maybe to destroy. It was unclear what he meant to imply, but he said maybe he wouldn't find the body cam footage. As in, like, maybe he'll destroy it. And I'm like, wow, why would you even want to do that? Why? If there's a crime, wouldn't you, like, I guess what he was implying is something more reasonable to say to someone is that he's just not going to look, you know? But his total refusal to handle the case like a professional made me seek out a different detective to be assigned to the case, and in order to do that, I have to call the chief of police. So I've been calling him, and I've left 3 previous messages, and I was wondering why he didn't get back to me, but apparently his fucking mailbox is full. He needs a secretary to fucking address that, write them all down, file them. So that's unfortunate. I guess I can find his email, you know? But anyway, I was going to let him know that I was going to seek an FBI detective through the 1-800 call FBI number. However, when the case lands on his desk, feel free to call me back and talk to me directly. Because it would be an honor to work with him. It would be an honor to speak to him. I'm so glad that he came to Texas. Because Texas is a really beautiful place. And it's full of people who would really benefit from a Hispanic chief of police, let alone a Hispanic chief of police who has oodles and oodles of experience bettering the police force in California, where the police have fewer resources because so many people are opposed to them. That I think that with his potential he showed for more years than I've been alive over in San Jose, California, he can do really good things. For Fort Worth, I hear that he did good things for Austin and Dallas. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I've seen a couple interviews. I saw the one where he tests out a pepper ball. That was funny. Oh, I kind of want to test out a pepper ball sometime. I want to get tased. I want to go to the police academy and get tased as like training for the police, not for being. I don't want to be a police officer myself. I'm too disabled for that. But I will definitely pretend to be a dumb criminal for you. Try to outrun you, fall on my fucking ass, and resist arrest so that you can get some practice shackling someone who's resisting. Tase me. Yeah, let's do it. That would be fun. Oh, but I'm never going to be an officer myself. A consultant, sure. Civilian consultant I will do. But an officer, I'm too disabled. Maybe a desk job, but even then, I don't want to deal with someone targeting me just for being a cop because I'm sitting behind a desk doing paperwork, you know? But I miss Fort Worth. And I bet a lot of people there miss me. It would be nice to go back. It would be nice to go back and see all the people who are living in the commune where I used to live when I was homeless. And when I was escaping trafficking. I was homeless on the streets because my trafficker I was escaping, he was either homeless or crashing with a friend that could kick us out at any moment. And yeah, that's right. We had found a place together, and I decided I didn't want to be with him after some particularly violent occurrences. And I decided to leave. And after 3 days of attempting to leave, he let me. And I took a cab all the way to the woods. And I used a shopping cart that happened to be there. I loaded up my stuff. And I took it back to the tent village in the woods. And for any of you locally who have lived in the Northside area, it's near the Long Bazaar. I won't give you an exact like the woods in question is big enough you could get lost in them. I'm not going to tell you exactly how to find them. But I took the cab all the way up to where I knew how to get to the tent village. And I did it in the dead of night when I knew none of the cops would be asking questions. Because that's all they could do, really, is if you're a transient, is tell you, hey, you're not supposed to be here. You have to find the other entrance, which I didn't know how to do. So if a cop did tell me, hey, you can't be here at 2 in the morning or whatever it was, um, I was prepared to basically like hide my stuff somewhere in the woods, take what I could to my buddy in the woods, ask him to come back out and help me transport the rest of my stuff because I'm disabled. But thankfully I didn't need to. We went to the main entrance and there was nobody there to stop me. No workers, no police. And I used the shopping cart. The hardest part was once you were so far in that you can no longer wheel the shopping cart, getting the stuff down the hill. But anyway, um, let's call him N. My friend N and the other guy whose name I completely forget, even though I had a crush on him. We lived out there for a while, for about a month. Then one of the guy that I had a crush on started, in what I realized in hindsight was trafficking me. He cut a deal with this dude, told me to go work for him, and said I would get cannabis from it. And I'm a medical user. If I didn't get cannabis, I couldn't eat, and I would eventually end up in the hospital. So I did what I had to do, got a measly amount of cannabis, and I'm like, somebody here is getting a cut of my pay because this is not enough cannabis to pay for what is in question, and they're trying to get me hooked on other drugs. But while I was there, one of the times I went, there was another worker there, and she saw how scared I was. And she took me to a house in Azle, still within Tarrant County. And I lived there for a week. And I can't remember if it was the night before I left or 2 nights before I left. I got mugged by one of the people living there. The guy who offered to be the father of my child. I got assaulted by the owner of the house. I witnessed him verbally abuse his, I think, brother, his older brother, who was disabled and because of familial piety laws forced to live with his younger brother, whom I'm assuming he abused when they were younger, and when the older brother had the upper advantage instead of was frail. And they also neglected him, and there were oftentimes I was the one to bring him water or to empty his little canister that he, peed it into. I can't imagine they were bathing him regularly. I don't think while I was there I even saw them bathe him once for a whole week. But I got mugged, got my nose broken, and I won. I ended up stealing his phone away from him after he could not get me to unlatch from his, I think it was a truck? Yeah, a truck. He was driving his pickup truck with me hanging out the window, reaching for my phone. He took my phone away from me so I couldn't reach it. And I did not give up. And he punched me in the face probably over 100 times. And then he started trying to kill me. So I gave up on trying to get my phone. And he said, no, you don't. It's too late for that now. So I grabbed his phone. And I started running. And one of the neighbors that we had parked near, because he just went in a big circle basically. One of the neighbors he had parked near heard the commotion and came outside, took my phone from the mugger, and then came up to me, and I was like, give me my phone first. He's like, it doesn't work that way. Give me his phone and I will give you yours. And I was like, are you sure you're not going to just fucking play me? And he's like, I promise you, I have nothing to gain from that. And so I gave him Jason's phone, and he gave me my phone back and gave Jason's phone to Jason. And then I asked the homeowner to come pick me up because Jason went to who knows what hoe's house to hook up with who knows what disease. And I could barely sleep that night. I tried. I told my captor, who I had escaped from, I told him what was happening. He offered to come pick me up. He unfortunately could not drive because he didn't have a vehicle nor a license. No, he had a license, he just didn't have a vehicle. So he had his buddy he was staying with come pick me up, but I think it took a day. So, yeah. That guy, N, is probably still living there now. And he tried to warn me about that guy who I had a crush on who trafficked me. So I should have listened to him. Not saying that N is the best person in the world himself, but it would be nice to, I don't know, see how it is there. See what's regrown since the forest fire. See who's moved in. Maybe clean up the place a little. I'm sure they're not taking the best care of it since they're all in the depths of addiction. It would be nice for a sober person to go down there and sweep up all the broken glass and make it so that you don't get cuts from the dirt. And some spray paint to mark off the parts of the creek that have leeches so that you stay in the parts of the creek that don't have leeches when you need to bathe or when you need to pee, because there's no toilet paper out there. Maybe get them some solar heating tubes and lots of propane, you know, some stuff. Take care of themselves. Maybe donate some money to the church that would give us food so that they can keep donating. I'm gonna go make coffee. I don't feel like sleeping. I woke up at 6 p.m. I might go live tonight just to avoid the crowd. But if I don't go live tonight, I will be going live soon. I will see y'all in the next one. Love you. Bye.